Hi, everybody. Welcome to yet another interview with a highly sensitive entrepreneur. Today, I have the utmost pleasure of introducing you to Stephanie Mackay of Stephanie Mackay. Can you tell us a little bit more about your company, Stephanie?
Hi, Barbara. Thank you so much for including me in your interview series. I'm a self-employed tarot reader. So I
Wow.
do tarot readings in person, by Skype, and then also by email. And I do
Mhm.
tarot events as well.
Okay. And do you have an ideal customer? Do you do it for employees or for entrepreneurs or?
My clients tend to be professional people,
Mhm.
either working or self-employed,
Okay.
who want an answer to a question.
Yes. Wow. And what types of questions do you usually get?
It's usually that the person they are where they are and they have a goal or somewhere that they want to get to, but
Mhm.
they're not sure on what next steps to take or what might be blocking them. And
Okay.
so they'd like to get to know the distance from here to there.
Yes, exactly. So what's holding them back and what obstacles they have to overcome to get where they want to go.
And also what strengths they have that they might not realize they could contribute
Oh,
to the project. Yeah.
very good. Very interesting because a lot of people don't see their own strengths. It's like a blind spotter for yourself or something.
Yes, and I think that's particularly true when, you want something really badly. You're focused so much on that, you don't see how far you've come already.
Yes, yes, that's true. I see that a lot in my practice as well. What was your biggest reason for starting your own company?
Well, I had quite a lengthy career with the Canadian government,
Hmm.
doing administrative law work. And, it was a great position. I had a great workplace, salary, all of those things. And it just came to be that it wasn't enough. And I thought, I've got everything that people would want. And yet it just wasn't satisfying. And I felt that I wasn't fully me there. I mean, I did like working there.
Yeah.
And express myself to the best of my abilities, but the confines of the role I was playing did not allow for me to really be who I am. And as time went on, that became less and less comfortable.
Yes, I can imagine. And did you know right away which type of company you wanted to start?
No, I had no idea. I would sit at my desk and my longing was, I thought, how would it be if I could just earn a living being myself? And I had no idea what on earth that would look like, but I just wanted to be able to show up and have be gainfully employed by bringing all of myself to it. And I
Mhm.
resigned from my job and I had no idea what I was going to do. But since a child, I'd always wanted to go and live in Africa. So I left the UK and I went to live in a little fishing village in the Gambia in West Africa.
Oh,
And
wow.
I did that for 2 years.
Totally
And I
different.
Yes, exactly. You couldn't get more different. And I was doing tarot readings on the side while I had my job, and then I did them by email and Skype for people, first my friends, then paying clients while I was in Gambia.
Hmm.
And then after 2 years, I left there and I went to India for 6 months and kind of, did yoga and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I came back to London about 2 years ago, and I realized, the tarot, it does allow me to bring all of myself to the role because I am quite sensitive and intuitive, and
Hmm.
I've always been someone that other people stop on the street to ask for directions. So
Ah,
there's
yeah,
there's
I
like a
recognize
sign
that.
on me that says "Show me the way."
Yes, I recognize that. I was in Rome and then Italian people came and asked me for directions,
Yes,
but I'm obviously not Italians.
yes, yes, exactly that. And you're also showing people the way. So.
Yes, yes, indeed. What are your top three benefits of being an entrepreneur?
For me, it is sort of lifestyle would be the number one part of it. I can do what I want when I want, and of course I have obligations first and foremost to my clients. I have my social media posts I have to do. So
Yes.
I've got a list of tasks, but I can do it, I can manage it in a way that suits me better. So,
Hmm.
sometimes I feel really energized and I can stay up late.
Yeah.
And then other times I can go to bed early and get up early, or, Sundays I find is a great day for working because it's kind of a peaceful day. And then I like to have a Tuesday off. So
Mhm.
that sort of freedom, and when I lived in Africa, I became much more in tune with my own rhythms. And, your energy ebbs and flows, even if you have a good self-care program, it does ebb and flow. And so
Yes. It's
being an
not always the
entrepreneur,
same. Yeah.
yeah. And so being an entrepreneur allows me to anticipate that
Yes.
and work around it in a way that I can still accomplish everything, but without putting that sort of 9 to 5 pressure on myself.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. When I started out, I had this idea that I had to start at 8:30 and work until 5:30, just like your regular job. So to be there for your clients, and I soon found out that's not my rhythm. I'm an evening person. In the morning,
Mm.
I'm slow and I need time to start up, and I want to do my morning routines, and I don't want to be hurried. So I usually get up to speed in the second part of the morning.
Mm.
When I started adhering to that rhythm, things became much better. But sometimes still I have an off day. I don't feel that great, or I'm not in the right energy to create something. And it's
Mm.
beautiful weather outside, so I give myself the day off to enjoy it. And then I would work in the evening, or maybe in the weekend, or whenever I feel I do have that energy to put into my company. And that's a big luxury for me as well.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I understand. And how has your life changed now that you are an entrepreneur?
I find that I've got a lot more confidence than I used to have. I mean, I had confidence before as well, but it was a bold step. I'd only ever been employed by the Canadian government,
Yes.
really. So it was a bit of a daunting task because I thought, I have no idea how I'm going to do this because I
Hmm.
didn't really have the skills. But, we live in a time where you can learn anything online,
Yes. True.
and it's amazing. And there are people like the work you're doing, your job wouldn't have existed 30 years ago. And so
Hmm.
because there's so many other people creating their own role, it's supporting the ones that come next. And
Yes.
um, so yeah, that's been the confidence part of it has been
Hmm.
a big change for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's safe to say that you had doubts when you made the choice of becoming an entrepreneur.
I really did. And some of that, ironically, as much as you can learn from things that are on the internet could also be a scary place sometimes. And
Yes.
I saw, people posting about being an entrepreneur and this idea of you got to rise and grind and crank it out and all this rhetoric. And to me, I thought, well, that's what I left. Do I have to be that kind of really overly driven person in order to be an entrepreneur? And that is one way to do it. But I have found that actually, no, I can do it in my own way that is more attracting what I want rather than scrounging and scraping in order to get it. But that was my
Mhm.
big doubt when I saw these, some high profile people who talk about being an entrepreneur, and it
Yes.
sounds worse than working for somebody else.
Yes.
um,
Yes.
but it
Yes.
doesn't have to be that way. Mm.
Yes. I really understand. Was there a step along your entrepreneurial journey that gave you like an aha moment?
I think it was really just realizing I could do whatever it is I want, and I don't have to do the things that I don't want. I
Hmm.
think I went through a similar process as you described, thinking you've got to still work 9 to 5, even though that's the whole reason that you left. And so I was kind of like that, and then thinking, I have to do this with my website, or I've got to have this thing on social media. And some of those things worked, and some of them it didn't feel right while I was doing it, or it didn't feel authentic to me.
Yes.
And then, it sort of dawned on me, hey, wait a second, I didn't quit a very secure and lucrative position in order to force myself to do things I don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started listening to that guidance that was coming from within me, I started having more progress because I was lined up with the parts that I wanted to do, and some of the things that other people do might be great for them, but not so much for me.
Yes, so it's about living your truth and feeling what is beneficial for you, and not trying to push yourself into the mold of somebody else.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. What would you have never accomplished if you had not become an entrepreneur?
Oh, gosh. Well, one of the impacts is when I had my job before, I was limited in terms of the vacation time. I had it was generous, but it was still limited. And so because I've had, I can work from anywhere. I've had the freedom to travel, although I did travel before. But one of the main benefits is actually becoming closer to my family, which is ironic because they live in Canada and I'm here in the UK. But, I went home at Christmas this year, and normally I would go for a week, and I was going to book a week trip. And then I thought, well, hang on, why am I limiting myself to a week when it doesn't matter how long I was there? And, my dad's getting a little bit older, and for the first time, we had just a really lovely time. I think because I'm very secure in myself now, and I had the time to be able to give to him. So that's been a really unexpected gift of, deepening my relationship with my dad. And then, I have a niece and nephew and a sister. And so feeling that I'm in the right place as far as my work goes, and then having that flexibility has really allowed our relationships to blossom. And I never would have thought that was something that would have happened.
No, exactly. It's really beautiful example of what you can experience as a benefit of being an entrepreneur. Yeah, thank you for sharing.
No, you're welcome.
And what was your biggest obstacle that you had to overcome before you started your company?
It was all in my own head, I think. Doubts about, who am I to post this video of myself, or, for example, many of my clients are people who they spend more time on LinkedIn than they do, say, on Facebook. And I was so intimidated by posting something about tarot on LinkedIn, because it's like, what I'm doing isn't good enough for that, which is ridiculous.
There's no place in company structure, maybe, and LinkedIn is a really business network.
Yes, but interestingly, that's who my clients are, and I have gotten clients off of just having a LinkedIn profile. But it's all that programming that I think there's a period of deprogramming when you become an entrepreneur, because you've got to let go of that mindset that I'll only have money if someone else employs me. I can only do certain things, so that was the growth for me, and that's what the biggest obstacle was.
Yes, so limiting beliefs, and a lot of people have limiting beliefs that they need to overcome before they can fully live the dream or their dream.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Did you also suffer the I'm not good enough syndrome?
Absolutely. Maybe not so much, because I was very clear I wanted to leave my job. But in terms of specific tasks related to my business, that's where it showed up. Like doing, Facebook Lives or other videos. When I set up my YouTube channel, it's like...
Yes. Seeing and hearing yourself is really confronting, right?
Yes, it is. And, some technology issues, and then, you do a video that's great and you realize there's like a big weird thing in your hair or whatever. But you've got to just move on, or you'll I realized I could agonize in not good enough forever.
Yes.
And then I really would feel not good enough if I didn't pursue what I wanted
True.
to do.
We all suffer as a highly sensitive person of the perfectionism disease, and that makes
Yes.
we want everything to be as perfect as possible. So every hair needs to be in the right place, and the lipstick needs to be right, and your necklace needs to hang right when you see it, and then
Yes.
or you have to say all the sentences correctly. You cannot make a misstep or use a wrong word, and then everything has to be shot again, and you can drive yourself crazy if you don't learn to overcome that part.
Well, I've come up with a little mantra, which is good enough is good enough.
Yes.
Because I think as a highly sensitive person, all what you just described, because even when we do a half effort, it's probably more than what's necessary. So we
Yes.
need to just know that
And
good
a lot
enough
more
is
than what
good.
everybody else is doing usually.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So you
Yes.
don't need to take 3 days to make one 3-minute video.
No, that's not definitely not a good idea. It's also not cost beneficial. So, but it's something you need to learn, and you learn that by doing it, by experience, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also start to realize that that level of perfectionism is just not sustainable because it engulfs your entire day,
Mhm.
and ultimately would impact the growth of a business. But
Yeah.
it's a process.
Yes, exactly.
Mm.
And what things about your company do you enjoy the most?
I love hearing people's stories and people's questions because as a tarot reader, I get, you know, I might have clients that are similar to each other, but the questions themselves
Mhm.
are, infinitely interesting. And I always find people interesting. So I kind of like having that secret view into people's lives when
Yeah.
they share the question. And ever since I learned to do tarot, I'm still delighted at how the story comes together when you lay the cards out. So
Mhm.
the pure joy of doing the readings is, that's still very much a fresh thing for me. And, just overall feeling quite, proud of myself for creating this when
Yes, you should
10
be.
years ago, I 10 years ago, I would never have believed it was possible.
Hmm. Yes, I can imagine. But it's also the shift that I'm experiencing in the world now. We're going more from, we used to be a brain culture, a brain society. Everything was about knowledge and about um, rules. And we are moving more towards a society where there's more room for feelings and for intuition. And that makes it also that there's more room for things like tarot, because it is not logical and you cannot think about it with your mind. You cannot comprehend why the cards would tell you something because it's a card with a picture.
Yes, yes,
Years ago
exactly.
they would look at it like that, it's a card with a picture, so how the hell should it give me a message?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yes, and because the times are now changing and more room is coming for sensitivity and for intuition, now there's also more room to allow the possibility of a tarot reading telling you something that might actually benefit you.
Absolutely, yes. There was an interesting article on the BBC News website just about a week ago
Mhm.
about that tarot is on the rise because we live in such uncertain times. And, I think it's that people
Awesome.
have more difficulty tuning into themselves,
Yes.
because we're bombarded with noise and information.
I think a lot of people have lost touch with who they really are inside.
Yes,
And
yeah,
now's the
I
time to
agree.
find that part back.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Do you maybe have like a message for everybody that's watching that has doubts about becoming an entrepreneur?
I would say that, understand that those doubts are quite normal, and you've got to sort of put your mind a little bit to the side and follow what else you're feeling, because
Mhm.
we all have doubts about everything.
Yes.
And certainly in some ways being an entrepreneur is challenging, but in other ways, particularly for highly sensitive people, you'll probably be very surprised at how well you do and how you hit your stride in a way that you might not do working for someone else in a role that's not a match for you. And
Yes.
so I would say, if you have those doubts, do what you can to work on them, whether you work with a coach or you're doing affirmations on your own, whatever
Mhm.
appeals to you. But you really can move through that into something that will be a fit for you in a way that you might not even be able to envision right now.
Definitely. I cannot agree more.
Mm.
And for you who are watching, I would advise you what Stephanie says, to explore the possibilities and to see what suits you. Work with the affirmations, but if you want to take bigger steps or move more quickly, then it's a really good idea to have a coach like, for instance, me, but there are a lot of other coaches out there. I think every successful entrepreneur has somebody to guide them, either being a mentor or a coach or a sparring partner. And I think that's also what you need, because you don't need to reinvent the wheel again. You can benefit of the knowledge and experience that somebody who can coach you or guide you has. And it will make it so that you can avoid the common mistakes and make your own mistakes, but then you can ask feedback on them again. And this will help you to grow much quicker, and it also will help you to have much more confidence, not only in yourself but also in the company that you're creating. So I would advise you to really consider it, even though you might not have a lot of money when you're starting. I know from experience I had the same. I didn't have a huge saving account when I started, so I had to really consider to which I spent my money. But I've never regretted investing it in a mentor or a coach, because every time I do that, they really help me to grow and take the necessary steps. And you can block yourself. You can have a temporary blindness to failures or to blockages that you might have, and then it's so good to have somebody to help you move through them.
I agree completely. When I first started out, I was trying to do it on my own, and I just went in circles, and then I worked with a coach. Unfortunately, I didn't know you at the time, but
Yeah.
having someone who's an outsider looking at your business and what you're doing from a different perspective is well worth the money. And in fact, you will save so much money by working with someone like yourself who's
Yes.
experienced, because on your own, or my experience and a lot of people I know, you've spent so much money on things you don't need to,
Yes.
or you do a great website, then you have to
Courses,
scrap it, do it
trainings, but
again.
also time. All the webinars I
Yes.
entered into that eventually didn't teach me anything, but cost me a lot of time. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah. No, I would say for sure investing in real live support from a human being is what will take it to the next level.
Exactly. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, that sounds awesome, but I really do not have the money right now, then it might be really interesting for you to know that I have a Facebook community for the highly sensitive entrepreneur. And the link's also in the comment section of this video. And you can enter for free. And it's a community for like-minded, highly sensitive entrepreneurs in which you can ask your questions, you can ask your feedback. And there will be also small courses and other stuff available to really help you grow as an entrepreneur. So that would be my advice, to at least register for the community. It's free and it will teach you a lot of things.
It's great that we have things like Facebook to build these communities,
Yes.
because I suspect years ago it would have been a lonely journey, but now we can support each other, which is great.
It does not have to be a lonely journey if you don't want it
No.
to. If you do, then that's fine. You walk your course,
Yes.
but you don't have to do everything by yourself. There are ways to connect with other people, with like-minded people, and this community is one of them. That's why I created it also, because I wanted a safe place where people can really help each other, and with no ulterior motives and no personal gain, and just if you created like an ebook or an ebook cover and you want feedback on it before you launch it for your clients, and a safe place to ask for that feedback would be in the and it's so very valuable to have support like that, and also
Yes.
like-minded people sparring with them.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And speaking of free things, I understood you had, Stephanie, a gift for our viewers.
Yes, I'd like to offer your viewers a free 3-card tarot reading for anyone who either is an entrepreneur or is considering, whatever stage of consideration you're at. You can get in touch with me over my website and, send me your question about. What I can help you with is look at what strengths you can use to become self-employed or to further your business, and what might be blocking you in your business at this moment. A 3-card reading is relatively brief, but it can give a very valuable snapshot of where you are and where you need to go, which is, I don't tell the future of my clients. I help my clients create their own future. So yeah, if you're already an entrepreneur or you're considering it and you have questions around that, I'd be very happy to give a free 3-card reading to all of your viewers.
Oh, that's really a wonderful gift. Thank you, Stephanie.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, really. If you're watching this and you have questions or doubts regarding your own strengths, or questions regarding obstacles that you see in order to achieve your dreams, your goals, then take Stephanie up on her offer and ask for that 3-card reading. You can email her directly. I think your email address is stephanie@stephaniemackay.com.
I would prefer if people could go to my website and use the contact form there, because that helps me stream. As a highly sensitive person, I need to be organized. That helps me streamline, because depending on the response, I want to make sure that I've got it all in one place. Awesome. I normally turn readings around in a couple of days. Depending on the response, it might be quite longer, but I will, of course, respond to every query I get.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you want the 3-card reading of Stephanie, you go to her website, www.stephaniemackay.com, and through the contact section, you can ask for her special gift for our viewers today. Thank you, Stephanie.
You can just put free reading offer in the email subject line, but yeah.
Yes, or refer to this interview series, and then Stephanie will know how you got the information, and she will be happy to respond to your story. Right?
Yes, absolutely. I look forward to helping other entrepreneurs do whatever it is they'd like to do.
Awesome. Then I thank you, Stephanie, very much for your time and for being on this interview series today. And I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you so much, Barbara. And yes, it's been a great experience, and I'm sure we will speak soon.
Yes, I'm sure of it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.